I've gotten a few requests on how to make animated callouts in Fusion, and not only animated callouts, but a callout where there's like a little pointer and it follows something on the screen and kind of tracks it, and the label sort of stays where it is. Here's how to do that. Here I am in Fusion, and we have this lovely shot that's just begging for a screen replacement. But we're not even going to do that today. I'm just going to leave you hanging. We're going to make a little call out here that kind of pops up and, says phone $45 or something like that. I don't know why $45. A phone would probably be like $450, or like if it's a modern phone, maybe $1,050. You get the idea. Let's start with just text. I'll grab this third icon over text plus and drag it into our node graph. I'll take the output here and merge it over the output of our media in. That'll make a merge with the text in the foreground. Let's select the text node and type phone $745. There we go. We'll just size this and position this to something like that. I'll also go to the shading tab, the fourth one over here, and go to our third element and hit enabled. That's going to add just a little drop shadow by default. That's a quick way to just add a little drop shadow. That's nice. But we want this to have a little pointer line that kind of pops out and goes like whoop, like this. It has a little dot there. And the little dot follows the motion of the phone while this label kind of stays where it is. First thing, let's make the dot. You can do this a lot of different ways. An easy way to just make a little dot is just to grab an ellipse. This is supposed to be a mask, but if we take a merge node and just drag this here and then drag the output of the mask into the foreground of the merge node, it'll just make a white circle, which is perfect for what we want. I'll just make this, I don't know, something like that. And we'll move this over here to kind of the edge of the phone. Now we just need the fancy little line. And so we'll put that kind of in between our text and our dot. And we could just put it after the dot. Let's do that. And there are a lot of ways to make lines and things in Fusion, but the way that we're going to do it this time is with a paint node. This fourth icon over here is called paint, and this is useful for a lot of things. You can use a paint node to clone things out, like in Photoshop. You do all kinds of stuff. But one thing that a paint node needs is a input. And let's just take a background and put that in as the input. I'll take the background here and just turn the alpha all the way down. So we have a blank background, and we're putting that into our paint node. And I'll take our paint node output, merge it over our merge 2. And now anything that we do in this paint node is going to show up over our video. So if I were to draw a bunch, we can draw on our video, right? That's really nice. Up here in our tools, above our viewer, we can go to the fifth one over, which is polyline stroke. If I click on this, then I can add kind of like a path with a pen tool. And I'm just going to start kind of here-ish and just click once, and then I'm going to click once right where I want the other end of our line to be, right here on this dot. And look, it draws a little line, but it's fuzzy. So let's go over here to our inspector, and under our brush controls, under brush shape, let's do this second one, circular, and we can adjust the size. And look, now we have a nice little line, and we can grab this point and move it around, which is a nice little way to render a line. Very, very cool. So if we just want to make a call out, I mean, we can just do something like this and kind of position this line like that, and we're done. If we don't want to track it, that's fine. But if we want to track this, we have to do a little more work. Here in our paint node, I'll just select our polyline here, and I'm going to select one of these points. And what we have to do is give ourselves access to these points so that we can do fancy things with them. So we're going to do something new, something we haven't ever done on this channel. I'm going to right click on this point and go down to polyline stroke 1 polyline, and then go down to publish and select publish points. What this is going to do is it's going to take this point and it's going to make a little control here in the inspector in our paint node. And that's going to allow us to link expressions and trackers and all kinds of fancy things to this point and move it around with some fancy effects instead of just grabbing it and dragging it within the paint node. Okay. One thing that seems to be a constant bug in Fusion is that when you publish a point, it doesn't show up here in the inspector until you click off of the node and then click back. And now look, under here we have 0.0. So now if I grab this 0.0 control and I move it around, you see it moves that point of our polyline stroke. Pretty cool. So what's neat about this is that we can type in an X and Y value, we can animate this, we can add expressions, or we can even connect this to a tracker. Now, normally what you do with a tracker is you make a tracker node and you track things and then you kind of link things up through that. But we can actually do kind of an internal kind of built-in tracker within this paint node. Whew, are we confused yet? It's really pretty simple. We go to this point that again, we can control with this X and Y value, and I can right click on this and I'm going to go down to modify with tracker position. And that is going to turn this red and break everything. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you subscribe and give me lots of, no, okay. All right. What actually happens here is that it adds a tracker modifier to this node, which we haven't really set up yet. That's why it's red. And that modifier lives confusingly behind the inspector where it says modifiers under a modifier called track 1. Now this is a little built-in tracker that's automatically connected to this point. All we need is a source. So right here, we got to do a little bit of really scary stuff. We got to type in what we want to track, which is going to be media in 1. So we'll just type in media in 1 like that and click off of this. And now we have a little image here under tracker. I can grab this tracker control and I can move this around. And let's just move this right to this little convenient tracking marker here. And we can track this forward using this track forward from current time. And I'll hit OK. Go back to the beginning of our track and double click track 1, track backward from current time. That's just going to track it like that. And we'll hit OK. And look what happens. It's automatically linked the end of this line to follow that little tracker point. Isn't that nice? So stinking easy. I love that. That's part of it, but now our little dot is being left behind. But we can do kind of a similar thing with our dot. Let's go ahead and go to our ellipse here. And this center for the ellipse, we can actually link this to that same tracker. I'll just right click on this, say connect to track 1, tracker position, boom. And now it puts that right there on that end of the tracker. And look at this. Now we have this tracked callout that follows that phone. Isn't that neat? Pretty sweet little thing. And the rest of it kind of stretches. So now I can just move my text wherever I want it to be, something like that. I'll grab this point in our paint and just put that where the text is. And now we have our neat little callout that moves along. Last thing to do is animate this, which under stroke controls, if we mess with right on like this, we can have this draw on like that. And so we can kind of animate this on. Let's have this completely on at about frame 61. I'll click on this keyframe diamond here for right on. And then at the beginning of our comp here, we'll take this right on all the way back like that. So go bloop. And right as it hits right about there, we'll have this dot come up. We'll take this ellipse and we'll keyframe that. Go over a couple frames. I'm just going to hit right bracket on the keyboard, maybe like 4 frames or so. And we'll click these keyframes. I'll go back to the original ones and just bring them back to 0. Now this dot grows, bloop, like that. And it's nice and animaty. Yeah, that's cool. Floop. Very nice. Maybe we want the text to write on as well. I can take this text, and again, we'll just animate the write on to end right there. And at the beginning, we'll have this bloop like this. So it types on just like that. Very cool. That's how you can make a nice little animated call out with one position tracked. Ah, so neat. Hey, if you enjoyed this and you want to dig a little bit deeper into Fusion, we have a course on visual effects in Fusion, which is Pro Compositing in Fusion right there. That is available at groundcontrol.film. Thanks for watching. I hope that your phone is less than $745. That would be nice. You know, what's this world coming to? That's what I'm saying. How much was your phone? Let me know in the comments below. See what I did? It gets engagement and the YouTube robots are better at